Now, in case of electrolysis, not only the electrolyte plays a role, but the electrodes also plays a role here. Electrodes basically are of two types, inert electrode and active electrodes. Inert electrodes are the electrodes which does not participate in the electrolytic reaction, which does not participate. In this all experiment which I said you with sodium chloride, with what I can say, with Hoffman's voltammeter, that is with acidulated water, I have taken inert electrode, that is platinum electrode I can take it, PT. So inert electrodes are what? Inert electrodes are basically platinum electrodes, then iron electrode, graphite electrode, gas carbon, we can say that. Alright, these are known as the inert electrode, which does not participate in the electrolytic reactions. But leaving behind iron and platinum, we can say that all other electrodes are the active electrodes, we can say that. That is your sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, all these electrodes are the active electrodes which participates in the electrolytic reactions. Got it now? So what I said, electrodes also plays a definite role here. So we are going to see the role of electrodes in the case of electrolysis. We are going to see. For that particular purpose, I am going to take two, what you can say, electrodes, two different electrodes. In one case I will take the active electrode, in another case I will take the inert electrode, and see what is the difference in the product it is being found when we are doing the electrolysis with the same electrolyte. Okay, understood now? Here I am taking copper sulfate solution, alright, using copper electrodes. Here the anode is copper and cathode is also copper, we can say that. Cathode is also copper. Now here I am using same thing, copper sulfate solution, alright, using platinum electrodes, that is anode is platinum and cathode is also platinum, we can say that. Clear? Here we can see. Now here we can take anode copper, cathode also you can take platinum, because if you take cathode instead of copper you can take platinum, no difference. Both it will be same, alright, you will see it. Or you can take both the anode and cathode as active electrodes, you can say that. But anode must be an active electrode, cathode may or may not be. Understood? Here in this case. Now copper sulfate when solution means C, that is Cu2 plus SO4 2 minus. As I said, solution means water must be there. Alright, so water will dissociate to give you H plus and OH minus. Here also same thing. CuSO4 dissociates to give you Cu2 plus and SO4 2 minus. And water solution means water must be there, H plus OH minus. Got it? The first we got this. Now next, after that add cathode. So just now I told you the electrochemical series, that is Peter cannot manage all zeal in love, hate, care. Hate means hydrogen, care means copper. So what you find is that copper will come below hydrogen. So what I said to you, the ions which are placed at the bottom of the electrochemical series, that gets the first preference to get deposited at the respective electrode because it has got higher electrode potential. So hence it gets the first preference. That means it loses electrons easily. That is what I mean to say. So hence here copper ion Cu2 plus will gain an electron to form copper. We can say that. Got it? Out of copper and H plus ion, both will migrate to the cathode, but which will get deposited? Copper. Understood the reason what I said? Because this is placed lower in the electrochemical series. This has got higher electrode potential compared to H plus ions, and hence it gets the first preference. I have told you about the electrochemical series, you know it. Now next, add anode, which will go to the anode. Now here you see both the electrodes are copper, both the electrodes. Understood? So hence OH minus ion and SO4 2 minus ion both will migrate to the anode, but none will get deposited there. Why? Because the anode is an active electrode. So anode will participate in the electrolytic reactions. It is going to participate in the electrolytic reaction. That means anode itself is going to lose electrons to form copper ions. Anode itself is losing electrons to form copper ions. Got it, the difference? So if you won't take here cathode copper, still then you will be getting this reaction only. If you take here platinum electrode instead of copper electrode, no difference it is, because out of these two this is lower, so hence this will get deposited, because cathode is not going to lose electrons, no? Because in cathode what happens? Reduction takes place. It is not going to lose. Anode is going to lose, because an anode oxidation takes place. You know it very well, this one. So hence here it is not going to lose electrons. So even if you take here platinum electrode instead of copper electrode, listen carefully, still then this reaction is going to take place, because what I am saying you, this, if I take copper here, do you think that by replacing this platinum here with there is copper, if I replace with platinum here, platinum will play any role here? No, same reactions is going to take place here. Alright, so it does not make any difference, but here it makes a difference here, because here copper itself is losing electrons. Why? Because at anode I said you repeatedly, oxidation takes place, loss of electrons takes place. But in cathode, loss of electron does it take place? No. For that purpose, no difference. Now, here you see, both electrodes are what you can say inert electrodes. Here, active electrodes. So what will happen here? At cathode. Let us see at cathode what it happens. So at cathode, Cu2 plus, same thing, Cu2 plus 2E minus will give you Cu. At anode, as it is an inert electrode, it will not participate in the electrolytic reaction. So OH minus ions is placed below, you know that. So OH minus E minus will give you OH. 4OH will give you 2H2O plus O2. So see the difference. Just one electrode I am changing. See the difference there. Alright, so what you see the difference here? See the observation. Here, when you are doing the electrolysis of copper sulfate solution using copper electrodes. Now what is the color of copper sulfate solution? Blue color. So the blue color of the solution slowly, what you can say, the blue color of the solution is being retained here in case of copper sulfate solution by doing with copper electrodes. But here the blue color of the copper sulfate solution slowly fades away. Slowly fades away. Why? Because you can see the concentration of copper is decreasing. Here the copper ions is added. Whatever the copper ions is being, what you can say, lost. The same copper ions is added to the electrolyte. See, C2 plus ion is added to the electrolyte again. Because this is deposited cathode, na? The same C2 plus ions is added to the electrolyte. So hence the concentration of the copper ions is same, due to which the blue color of the copper sulfate solution is retained. But here the copper ions is being added to the cathode. Is it being added to the electrolyte once again? No. So due to which the concentration of the copper ions is decreasing. As a result, the blue color of the copper sulfate solution slowly fades away. Here in this case, but here it is being retained. That is the observation we get it. So hence you see here, electrodes plays a definite role here. Alright, active electrodes participate, inert electrode does not. Alright, so you came to know about electrolysis. I hope it is clear. Now, next in this way, so many more reactions are there that you can go through the examples. Alright, still you haven't, you have studied also, of course, in the lower classes. Alright, and you can go through it. The same sort of reactions you will be getting it. Suppose if you do the reactions with lead bromide. Alright, molten lead bromide, if you take it and carry out the reactions, you will be getting reddish brown colored bromine gas liberated from the anode. Because Pb2 plus ions will form Pb and it will settle at the cathode, and bromine gas will be liberated from the anode. How do you know bromine? Reddish brown colored gas will be liberated from it. So these are the observations which are very simple and you can go through it. Okay, fine. Next is, we'll come to the Faraday's laws of electrolysis. That is Faraday's first law. Faraday's first law of electrolysis. So write the law first. Faraday's first law. First write the law. Statement. Right. When same quantity of current is passed through an electrolyte, the amount of substance deposited or liberated at the electrode, the amount of substance deposited or liberated at the electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of charge flowing through it. The amount of substance deposited or liberated at the electrodes is directly proportional to the quantity of charge flowing through it. Alright, is directly proportional to the quantity of charge flowing through it. Alright, so suppose you are doing the electrolysis and you are passing electric current through it. Alright, you are passing electric current. Then you find here either the amount of substance is deposited or it will be liberated. If it is a gas, it is liberated. If it is a metal, it is deposited. So the amount of substance which is deposited or liberated at the respective electrode, whichever electrode, cathode or anode. Now the amount of substance which is deposited liberated is directly proportional to the quantity of charge flowing through it. Quantity of charge means the current. We can say that. That is nothing but, I can say, that is quantity of charge is nothing but here, that is we can also represent it by Q. Of course, Q is equal to I into T. You will be getting it. That is ultimately you can calculate the current from it. But here charge means it is Q, not current of course. It is Q, we can say that. So from the law we come to know W is directly proportional to Q. The amount of substance which is deposited or liberated at the respective electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of charge flowing through it. That is nothing but Q. So to remove the proportional sign we need a constant. So here the constant is Z. Z is what? Z is nothing but electrochemical equivalent. What I said? Electrochemical equivalent. We can say that. That is called as Z. Electrochemical equivalent. It is known as. Okay. So W is equal to Z into Q. You can still simplify it further. As I said you just now to you that Q is equal to I into T. Current into time. We can say that. So hence we can also get W is equal to ZIT. Alright, W is equal to ZIT, we get it. Here Z stands for electrochemical equivalent. Now, how to define Z? It's very easy. It is from the formula itself we can define here. See that. It is the amount of substance deposited. See here. The amount of substance deposited when a current of 1 ampere is flowing through the electrolyte in 1 second. Very easy. From the formula itself, see, you have to make in words, your own words. Z is what? Electrochemical equivalent. How to define it? See, what I said here, it is the amount of substance deposited when a current of 1 ampere is flowing through the electrolyte in 1 second. That is called as electrochemical equivalent. That is nothing but known as Z. So W is equal to ZIT. We got it in this way. Clear? This is your first law of electrolysis given by Faraday. Faraday's first law of electrolysis, we can say that. Now, next we'll come to the Faraday's second law. Thank you very much.